Hey, what's up guys, Ankle Breaker J2 here, the man with the plan, man with the mind and the knowledge of the YWC, and this here is my this month in wrestling. We're getting to the end of the month. It's about to be Halloween in a couple days, and I was like thinking to myself, I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays of the year. What should I do? Maybe Halloween Havoc. That should be the main choice, right? So I'm gonna do an old school Halloween Havoc, a Halloween Havoc VHS I was gonna say VHS DVD, a VHS tape that I still personally own today, even though the tape doesn't work anymore. It's NWA Halloween Havoc from 1989, the very first Halloween Havoc from 1989, and on the cover is the Road Warriors. I have it somewhere. I can't find it, but maybe in another video I can show you the actual VHS cover. Let's go and go through the card. There's a lot of famous wrestlers in here that either are still around today or they're just known in wrestling, period. And I might surprise some of you guys with some of the names I'm going to say here. And you're going to be like, man, that guy wrestled then. Or, man, that guy, I know that guy. I didn't know he was a wrestler. Or, you know, oh man, I didn't know that guy. I didn't know that guy was like a manager. So you're going to find a lot of people here, maybe, if you're not too familiar. If you only know the Attitude Era on, you're going to probably find a lot of guys in here that you're going to find interesting to know on what they did back then and back in the 80s. And this was still technically NWA at the time, but this is when they start transitioning into WCW in 1989. I'm going to go ahead and go through the card. Not going to go into detail about the matches. Overall, this pay-per-view was good. Good pay-per-view. Classic, hard-nosed wrestling. You got all your characters in here. And the Rangers. Oh, fuck Rangers. Oh, fuck Rangers. Bottom of the 6th inning. 2 on the base. 1 out. If you know what I'm talking about, then there you go. Okay. Let me go ahead and go through the card here. Tom Zink, a.k.a. Z-Man, defeated Mike Rotunda. If you don't know who Mike Rotunda is, a.k.a. IRS from WWF, IRS, and he also teamed with the Barry Windham part of the U.S. Express. Barry Windham, currently right now, as I'm filming this, Barry Windham, he's currently in the ICU right now. You know, we're currently right now, they say that his dad say that he's near death. Hopefully, Barry Windham does come out with a miracle of staying alive with us. Hope you can stay with us. One of the members of the main Four Horsemen stable. He wasn't part of the original, but he was part of the main Four Horsemen stable back in the 80s. But yeah. Anyway, let me just go ahead. You know, I just had to get that out there because it's actually been on my mind like pretty much all day, and I love to see Barry Windham wrestling back in the day, but yeah, Tom Zink, a.k.a. Z-Man, defeated Mike Rotunda, a.k.a. IRS, in a short match. And the next match that I had here was the Midnight Express. One of the best tag teams of all time, one of my top 10 tag teams of all time. The Midnight Express and Dr. Death Steve Williams with Jim Cornette versus the Samoan SWAT team, Samu, the Samoan Savage, the Samoan Savage, a.k.a. the Tonga Kid, and Fatu. If you don't know who Fatu is, a.k.a. Rikishi. Rikishi, yes, Rikishi did wrestle in WCW back in 1989. That's pretty old school. So, pretty much, the Samoan SWAT team did defeat the Midnight Express and Dr. Death Steve Williams, JR's boy. That's my boy. You know, Jim Ross, Steve Williams, and barbecue sauce go hand in hand together. So the Samoan SWAT team did defeat the Midnight Express and Steve Williams with Jim Cornette. Next match was Wildlife Tommy Rich versus the Cuban Assassin. Don't worry about who the Cuban Assassin is. He's nobody relevant into the history of wrestling. He was just one of those guys there that was trying to make a buck back in the day. The Wildlife Tommy Rich, another wrestler, real respectable wrestler. I kind of compared Tommy Rich. Today. If I had to compare it to a wrestler today, I would say like a Sheamus. Hard-nosed wrestler. He wasn't big as Sheamus. He was not as big as Sheamus, but I'm talking about the wrestling style. You know, Tommy Rich was about 6'4". So I guess you can say they're about the same size. He was about 250 pounds. He's based out of Memphis in Georgia, where he used to wrestle Jerry Lawler. When Jerry Lawler was running shop back in Memphis back in the day, in the mid-'80s. That's who Jerry Lawler used to wrestle all the time, would be Tommy Rich. Tommy Rich did defeat the Community Assassin in that match. Next match I have here, and this may shock you. It may shock you. Shane, the Dynamic Dudes, which will be Shane Douglas, the franchise Shane Douglas, and Johnny Ace, a.k.a. John Laurinaitis, with Jim Cornette. And this is the NWA World Tag Team Championship match against the Freebirds. Not the Fabulous Freebirds, but it did have Michael Hayes in there. Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin, when they used to dance in the ring, doing all this shit. Yes, let's get back to Johnny Ace. Johnny Ace, yes, he was. If you think he was just, Vince McMahon's right-hand man, you're wrong. He used to wrestle. He used to be a good wrestler, the Ace Cutter. Which would be an innovation of the the Ace Cutter is the innovation of the RKO and the Diamond Cutter. Johnny Ace was the first one to actually do that. And also as well, CM Punk and John Cena made a reference to this tag team back this past Monday Night Raw when he was talking about the ball bearings and talking about, because the Dynamic Dudes, if you don't know, they used to be a skateboarding tag team. They used to come out with skateboards in their hair. They used to look like skateboarders from the 80s. Basically, long story short, the Freebirds do win. Garvin did pin Douglas in this match. I remember this match for sure. They did pin and they did retain the NWA World Tag Team Champions. So that was a good. I remember that match. That was a good match. Next match that we have here were the Steiner brothers. Everybody knows who the Steiner brothers is. Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, and the dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner versus Doom. If you don't know who Doom is, the tag team was Butch Reed. If you don't know who Butch Reed is, he was in WWF back 87, 88. He was there. He was basically, known as the natural Butch Reed with the blonde hair. He used to be managed by Slick. If you don't even know who Slick is, I'm pretty sure people know who Slick is. But if you know who Slick is, then he used to manage Butch Reed. And his tag team partner was, Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons, a.k.a. Farouk, was the tag team partner of Butch Reed. And another person in there who managed him was Woman, a.k.a. Nancy Benoit. Oh, God, I just said Nancy Benoit. Nancy Benoit, oh my God. God damn. Fuck Chris Benoit. Killing his wife like that. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Woman was a beautiful woman. That was not, I didn't script that. Yeah, Woman was a beautiful woman. But anyway, long story short, Doom, Ron Simmons, and Butch Reed did defeat the Steiner Brothers. It was just a regular tag team match. Wasn't anything, special involved. It's just a tag team match on the card. Next match we have on the card was Brian Pillman, Flying Brian Pillman, from the Hart Foundation back in 1997. He used to be part of the Hollywood Blondes with Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the early 90s in WCW. This is for the United States Championship. Who did he face? He faced Lex Luger, the total package Lex Luger. So Lex Luger back in '89 wrestled Brian Pillman for the NWA United States Championship, and Lex Luger did defeat Brian Pillman to retain his NWA United States Championship. And I don't remember that match too much. Lex Luger was a genetic freak back then. Good Lord. Brian Pillman, still one of the innovators of the modern high flying. That was a good match there. And Lex Luger does defeat Brian Pillman. Second to last match on the card here was the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, inducted into this year's Hall of Fame with Paul Ellering, their manager there, versus the Skyscrapers, with Dan Spivey. You don't need to know who Dan Spivey is. Dan Spivey was nobody important. He was known also as Waylon Mercy from WWF back in the mid '80s, and he also came back in 1995. 1995, he was known as Waylon Mercy in the WWF, and his tag team partner was Sid Vicious, aka Sid Justice, aka Psycho Sid, aka jumping off the top rope, hitting Scott Steiner with a leg and breaking your leg in half. Ugh. Yeah, that's Sid Vicious back in '89. And their manager was holla holla holla, blah blah blah, holla holla holla, ooh ooh ooh, Tay Long. Yes, Tay Long. He managed the Skyscrapers back then. Also, Tay Long, if you didn't know, as well, he used to be a referee. Yes, he did. He used to referee back in NWA. He used to be a manager, obviously, and he also used to be, when he came into WWF, he used to referee and manage. But I'm pretty sure you guys know that already. But long story short, the Road Warriors did defeat the Skyscrapers, Sid Vicious, and Dan Spivey with the Tay Long there re-signed. Our main event. If you do not, let me get this. This main event is on this DVD that I have here. Okay? This main event is on this DVD that I have here. And if you see, I don't know if you can see it there, but I'm going to try to hold it up there to you a little close like that. Thunderdome match. Ric Flair and Sting versus Terry Funk and the Great Muta. Halloween Havoc. October 28th, 1989. So, I actually have this match on this Legends of Wrestling roundtable. If you haven't seen this before, by the way, recommend pick these up. Good discussion on wrestling, great stories. So, the match itself, since I have the match, good match. It was a good match overall. If you don't know what a Thunderdome steel cage is, it's basically like, it's a steel cage, and it kind of arcs up at the top. Kind of like, what is it like? Kind of like the, not the Insane Asylum, wherever TNA has the big red dome, the Asylum, I think that's what it's called. But it was just like a regular steel cage though, and it kind of arced up like that, but it didn't have a roof over it though. Well, anyway, long story short, Ric Flair, in his prime Ric Flair, a young Sting, you had the Great Muta, one of the best, probably, to me, he's probably one of the best Japanese wrestlers of all time. He's probably like the most famous Japanese wrestler of all time to us Americans. And every time you heard stories about the Great Muta, like if you're like back in the day, like when I was like young, I used to have a Japanese friend in elementary school. He was from Japan, and he's like, "Have you ever heard of the Great Muta?" I was like, "No, I never heard of the Great Muta." He used to tell me stories about the Great Muta. You were one that they were true. So and also, I believe there's a magazine, pro wrestling magazine, like a PW, Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. You see your stories about the Great Muta, and you used to worry if they're true, then because you never get to see footage of the Great Muta ever. So the Great Muta and Terry Funk. Everybody knows Terry Funk is crazy, get busted open, my eye, referencing to One Night Stand 2006. Like, my eye. Anyway, overall good match. It did its job with the whole Halloween Havoc thing, and basically what this match was, supposedly at the top, if you touch the top of the cage, you get electrocuted. Actually, an item did catch on fire in this match, by the way. I haven't seen this in a while. I'm not quite sure if they actually showed the footage of it, but I actually seen the actual raw video on YouTube when it was showing live, and it showed item caught on fire. It was like a rag or something that actually caught on fire. So the whole cage on the top, legitimately, if you touched it, you were getting electrocuted. So it wasn't too safe back then in NWA. But hey, good pay-per-view overall. If you have time, if you can find the pay-per-view somewhere, I'll highly suggest you to watch it. You'll see all these guys that I mentioned, like John Laurinaitis, like Teddy Long, like, Woman, Ron Simmons. You'll see all these guys, Mike Rotundo, IRS. You'll see all these young guys back then, wrestling, like Lex Luger, Brian Pillman, Michael Hayes. Guys that you always heard about, Guys that you always see on TV or names that you hear floating around, you finally get to see them in action, you know? You know, like the Great Muta. You know, some people never seen Great Muta. And also, as well, in that match, in the Thunderdome Steel Cage match, Bruno Sammartino was a special guest referee. Bruno Sammartino. Yes, the 7-year WWF champion, the longest champion in history. He was a special guest referee in the match. So, there you go, guys. Okay, guys, please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment. And next month, for this month in wrestling, will be Survivor Series. Yes, Survivor Series. Let me know on what Survivor Series I should do. I'm kind of going right now, leaning towards 92, you know, because that's one Survivor Series I like the most, 92, but let me know. Again, guys, please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment. I just got my 300 sub, so let's try and make it 400, guys. Check you guys later. You guys have a great weekend.